As Donald Trump's censorious war against the free press continues to rapidly escalate, believe it or not, a Fox News reporter of all people is persistently, publicly going to the mat, taking on MAGA in defense of her colleagues and the right to free press, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, I want to play this quick clip here of Donald Trump recently in the Oval Office sitting in Elon Musk's chair. Elon was gracious enough to grant him the seat, in which he talked about a recent development in terms of his ever-escalating war of censorship against the free press.
Get your thoughts on that. And also on Air Force One, it's trending on X. People are talking about it. Get your thoughts.
Well, we're going to be now calling those shots. As you know, we won that lawsuit right there. See, the Gulf of America, which is a beautiful name. Most people agree. I don't know. It's, AP has been terrible. Look, I think they're radical left. I think they're third-rate reporters. I know the specific young lady that works on the account is terrible. She's a radical left lunatic, as far as I'm concerned. They don't treat us fairly. That's number one. And number two, they had no right to do that. This is the Gulf of America. And if you look at that shoreline, look at that shoreline. Look, from Florida, well, most of it it's called America. And vast majority, like big numbers. So I'm just admiring it as I look at it.
Right. So that's Donald Trump not knowing geography. He mentioned Florida. He clearly wanted to talk about Texas, but forgot what that state was called. So then again, he's just trying to distract himself and the reporters by staring at poster board. So in context, here's what happened. Obviously, as we've discussed, Donald Trump has effectively waged war on the Associated Press because the Associated Press, which is an international news agency, will not refer to the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, given that the vast majority of the world still refers to it as the Gulf of Mexico. As a consequence, they've been the targets of Donald Trump's war of censorship. Well, again, it escalated. And this is what Trump was asked about because the White House, led by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, are changing the rules about access to Donald Trump. And again, this has prompted a major Fox News reporter to publicly go to the mat and criticize this, as Mediaite reports. Fox News' Jacqui Heinrich drags MAGA fans cheering Trump press pool bombshell. You're dead wrong. Fox News senior White House correspondent Jacqui Heinrich hit back at MAGA fans cheering on the Trump administration's bombshell announcement that they were seizing control of the White House press pool. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced Tuesday that Trump would be seizing control of the rotation and deciding which outlets cover the president's movements, an obligation historically reserved for the White House Correspondents Association. The move drew widespread condemnation, including from Heinrich on X/Twitter. Heinrich, a WHCA board member, wrote, "This move does not give power back to the people. It gives power to the White House. The WHCA is democratically elected by the full-time White House press corps. WHCA has determined pools for decades because only representatives from our outlets can determine resources all the outlets have, such as staffing, in order to get the president's message out to the largest possible audience, no matter the day or hour. Moreover, in every administration, WHCA has advocated to expand access to news events beyond just the pool. Making an event open press or pool only is up to the White House. Oftentimes, administrations limit access to pool only because of security or space constraints. WHCA's job in that scenario is to ensure that the pool includes representation from each constituency: radio, TV, wires, print, stills, new media, to get the news out to the fullest possible extent. Our job is to advocate for the most access possible." But Heinrich also pushed back at, quote, dead wrong MAGA fans who celebrated the move and schooled them on misinformation they were spreading. When one user wrote, quote, "The gatekeeping is over, get over it," Heinrich responded, "If you think MAGA benefits from this in the long term, you're dead wrong. You would not have trusted that any Democratic administration to pick its own pool. But now that door is open. WHCA has never opposed the White House adding to the pool, but picking it is another story. Just wait till a Democratic administration plays that game. You'll hate it." So let's stop right there. Again, there's more to talk about. Again, a very principled, consistent stance from Jacqui Heinrich, who, to be fair, is one of the better Fox News reporters. Okay, she's typically at the White House in the press pool taking questions from, it could be Biden, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. It could be Caroline Leavitt from the Trump administration. She's a pretty fair and consistent player, and she does ask tough questions no matter who is in front of her. But this goes back to the notion of consistent principles and whether the shoe is on the other foot. She's 100% right. The same people who are celebrating this decision would be apoplectic. They would be weeping in rage. They would be pulling their hair out. They would be shouting at the heavens if a Democratic administration had ever dared pull a stunt like this. But no Democratic administration has ever had the temerity to do something like this. And Trump is just running with it. I mean, they're openly celebrating this. But again, it's not about principles for MAGA. It's not. It's about a specific outcome, owning the libs. And that means doing anything you have to own the libs in the short term, even if, when turnabout comes, you don't think it's fair play. This has been the problem of the modern Republican Party. And quite frankly, it predates MAGA. I would argue it's very much a Mitch McConnell, Newt Gingrich thing. It's a pre-MAGA Republican Party where it's like, okay, let's bend and twist the rules in the short term because we can reasonably expect that Democrats will not avail themselves of the same precedents. But it is my hope that we are seeing a change in the Democratic Party, especially as MAGA continues to flex its power, where Democrats, once they take power, start to avail themselves of such precedents to make the point true. Others tried to call Heinrich out or otherwise dunk on her, but she was ready for them. So Cernovich, a very popular right-wing account, said, "Why should the WHCA get to choose who's in the press corps?" Jacqui responded, "WHCA has never opposed the administration adding to the pool. We've just opposed them limiting it." Cernovich, "Multiple members of the WHCA tried to have me banned from the press briefings during Trump's first term. I would go in on a day pass, didn't bother anyone, and there was absolutely an attempt to exclude." Jacqui responded, "I wasn't on the WHCA board or even covering the White House back then, but I can assure you there's no rule against attending a briefing if you have a credential to be on the grounds, such as a day pass or a hard pass. You should try again now. It may have been COVID-era limits which were imposed by the White House, not the WHCA." Somebody named Caden G, I don't know who this is. Is this a random account? Let's see. Yeah, so just a random account. So, wow, she's being very generous responding to people. To be fair, it's never felt like there's been a conservative presence in the White House media other than Fox News. So when a future Democrat administration inevitably does the same thing, it'll just feel like returning to business as usual. But again, Jacqui fact-checked them. Newsmax, Daily Caller, New York Post, Washington Examiner, Fox, the Wall Street Journal all have seats in the briefing room assigned by the WHCA and are members of the pool. And other conservative outlets are part of the WHCA but don't have a large enough coverage footprint to fulfill pooling duties or qualify for a seat. Moreover, the White House has always handled access credentials, and WHCA has never opposed the White House expanding credentialing or adding to the pool. In fact, WHCA consistently advocates to expand access to events. So again, just with a fact check, like, no, it's not just Fox. It's the Daily Caller, the New York Post, the Washington Examiner, Fox, and the Wall Street Journal. There is a robust conservative presence in the press pool. Let's see here. Did she respond to this person? No, she did not. Why is that in here? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, she did. So Lisa Capiello, again, I don't know who this is. Yeah, just another random account. "I don't recall hearing a peep out of the WHCA when the last administration was banning reporters and pulling press passes from those they didn't like. 475 passes got pulled." So Jacqui Heinrich responds, "That's not correct either. During COVID, hundreds of hard passes, long-term access badges, were issued to people who covered the White House irregularly because of the logistical issues like the lack of White House staffing at the gate to process day passes. When the pandemic was over and those hard passes expired, the administration returned to the previous standard, and day pass access was never limited." So she's even going to the mat by correcting fact checks that are anti-Biden in nature, right? I mean, she's going, no, that's not true. The Biden administration didn't engage in this sort of flagrant censorship. "Jacqui Heinrich, did you take time out of your busy day to say anything about this when this happened?" And again, she responds, I've already debunked this already. "Then clear it up. Don't just say it's not accurate and move on. Let's hear the story. I know Simon was removed because he was disruptive. So what happened?" "I did. Read the post. Here it is again. The White House has always handled credentials, hard passes, and day passes, not the WHCA. There are many conservative leading outlets with seats, including Newsmax, Daily Caller, New York Post, Washington Examiner, Fox, Wall Street Journal, etc." So again, just going with these relentless fact checks. I'm very impressed with her consistency here. So she was challenged at one point, "Can you give an example of logistics focus?" And she said, "Well, pretty basic stuff. such as making sure outlets seeking to join the pool rotation have the staff to show up at the call time, which could be at any hour, handling travel arrangements like trip signups, passports, and visa issuance for foreign trips/billing, establishing the pool email chain to ensure outlets don't miss news, working with the White House to ensure pool, at a minimum, is admitted to document news events at home and abroad for the historical record. Also, the WHCA has always welcomed the White House to expand the pool, just not limit it. Herculean effort on her part. So again, this is a Fox News reporter who is principled enough to say this is not a good idea, not the least of which because the next time a liberal administration is in or a Democratic administration is in, this precedent can be cited to punish conservative outlets or to limit access to the president for conservative outlets. And again, I hope we start to see Democrats start to rattle their saber like, hey, listen, if you're going to pull this shit, after we beg you time and time and time and time and time again for years to not do this stuff. Maybe a Democratic administration does need to rattle the saber and say, you pulled this shoe out and you put it on. We begged you not to. Well, now we're taking the shoe off and putting it on the other foot, and we're going to walk around for a while to teach you a lesson. Maybe that's the only way to get MAGA's attention. I think it is, because certainly appealing to consistency and principle, that's not working, despite Jacqui Heinrich's best efforts. And again, kudos to her for doing so. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.